Hello guys. So we're back in another episode of Coffee On. So it's gonna be very interesting today because I get to speak to one of my favorite burger joint owner back home in Malaysia. So they're known as MyBurgerLab. The story is very interesting is because they were chemical engineer and they actually turned and they opened up a burger joint with that kind of approach. So we're gonna speak to Renyi, which is one of the co-founder of MyBurgerLab today, and he will tell us like everything that his inspiration and his philosophy behind building MyBurgerLab. Alright. Hello.
Hi everyone.
Hello. It's pretty sunny back there as well, right? The weather's so
thankfully it's not raining.
like in Singapore here it rained a little bit in the morning, but now it's so much better.
That's good.
I'm feeling very positive and
Yep.
yeah, I'm sure today's gonna be very interesting. So everyone here is very interested in your story because you and two other friends were chemical engineers, right?
Mechanical.
And you guys mechanical engineer, and you guys also started this burger joint that is also known as a lab in 2012. And
Yes.
it's been, until right now, it's one of the most popular and one of the most desirable like burger joint in KL and probably in Asia. It's very
Well, to some
interesting.
people, I don't dare take that claim, but to some people, they do say that.
I'm a huge fan. Is there a chance that you can maybe move your video towards not the window, because the light from the window is a bit too strong.
Yep. Let's see.
Yep.
If we do this.
It's a little bit dim. I think it's still a little bit dim. Could you face somewhere else?
This is okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
I like the plants as well.
Yeah. I have a bit of a plant
Thank you.
collection here. They haven't died yet, so that's always a good thing.
Thankfully, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone's curious. So for everyone that is also with us in this chat, we would love to have you in the conversation. Please submit your question and say hello to Renyi. So welcome. Thanks for agreeing to do this again. I really appreciate it. So tell us the story. How did you end up pursuing burger making?
So I think just like anyone else there working for somebody else, there's always a dream to be your own boss, right?
Right.
My dream has always been to be a scientist, to be a mechanical engineer. But I realized somewhere down the road that dream was actually more of my parents' dream rather than my own. But I did go through the process. I did go to uni and got myself a degree in mechanical engineering. However, it was towards the end of my degree that I realized that it might not be what I want to do. So coming back from the States, well, just to clarify, I went to school in Malaysia, but it's a British university, University of Nottingham. But during the summers, I will go to the States on a program called Work and Travel. I think a lot of Singaporeans are familiar with this program, and Malaysians too. So when I was there, I happened to be in this place called Yellowstone National Park. For those that know Yogi Bear, that's where he's from, Jellystone. Well, while I was there, and you go out camping, you go out, sitting under the Milky Way, looking at the stars, and you start pondering about life. And that was when I realized, all my life, everything that I've done was living for others. And there was a bit of an epiphany to say, hey, maybe I should try living for myself. But of course, that was a scary journey. It wasn't like a light bulb moment and you go, hey, I want to switch from being a mechanical engineer to do something else. So after I graduated, that thought was still in my head. My dad was pressuring me to go find a proper job. Every day I would go out, I would say I'm going for, I would go out and I'll tell my parents that I was going for a job interview, when what I was doing was I was working at a cafe. So when I was studying, I was working at different cafes and restaurants. There was just something about hospitality that drew me to it. I really like serving people, and through serving other people, it made me happy. So while I was still trying to find myself and not wanting to dive into the world of professional engineer, I asked myself, what really makes me happy, and at the end of the day, F&B really made me happy. So I took a dive and started a simple burger joint in 2012 with my two other partners. All three of us technically no professional F&B experience apart from working part-time for other people. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of dumb luck. But thankfully, we had a lot of support. We had a lot of friends that wanted to see us succeed. So they gave us the right advice. They gave us the right support. And thankfully, Burger Lab, somehow picked up within the first few weeks of us opening. And it became a bit of a legend in the first 1-2 years. But now, 8 years later, we like to think that we are still contributing to the F&B scene by inspiring others to be good at what they're doing. But the business model definitely have changed a lot from what my original goal of wanting to just serve burgers. It has evolved a little bit into an objective of actually growing the community. I'm not too sure how Singapore is, but in Malaysia, if you go to any F&B establishment, what is really common is you will find a lot of foreign workers within the establishment. Nothing wrong with that, absolutely. I think they do contribute to the economy. However, it was something that we wanted to address, because when I was working in the States, I worked with a lot of young Americans. I think everyone hears the story that, hey, in America, when you're 18 years old, you get kicked out of the house and you got to go find your own way of living.
Yeah.
And I dare say that's almost 50% true. So I realized that the Americans of the same age are a lot more mature in terms of independency. So I was thinking, hey, if I'm going to start a company, can I do something where it contributes to the young people within our community? So we exclusively hire students that are between the age of 16 to 21, 22. So they are either just finished high school, or just started college, or doing uni, or just finished, to develop essential skills and soft skills that school might not otherwise teach them, and to discover that they have a bigger potential than what I think school allowed them to believe they had. Because I feel that schools, while they are good, they are actually factories churning out mindless drones to work for the big industries. So we wanted to provide an opportunity to say, hey, work with us, see what the real world is like. How when you're young, you always get told that, hey, the real world is different, the adult world is different. But why do you need to experience that adult world only when you are an adult? Why not when you are in the progress of educating yourself? So that's what we want to do. So we are also very flexible. When these kids work with us, they only need to work twice a week. Most employers say, hey, you need to work at least 3 to 4 times a week. For us, you work twice a week with us, 3 months, we're happy. So we command a huge team of youngsters. And that's what Burger Lab is nowadays. We are an institution. I like to see ourselves as an institution for young people to work, grow themselves, and they happen to serve good burgers and good service.
Nice. I also saw a couple of interviews that you also specifically want to hire geeks, which I find very interesting. Like in terms of like your business like skills, that you will hire like part timers who also are like passionate or maybe geeky, or in that sense that's very similar to yourself. It's very interesting. It's pretty cool. Sorry, but I think your picture is a little bit blurry now.
Oh,
Do you think you can turn on to your data? I think the Wi-Fi is not very stable.
There's going to be a little bit of a lag.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, great.
It's crystal clear now. So, one question: why burger?
It's the easiest thing to make. I have no culinary. Yeah, I mean, I have no culinary training. And you know, when my friends have barbecue and whatnot, I'm always the guy that's manning the barbecue pit, cooking sausages, flipping patties. You know, so it was something that I think for anyone venturing into cooking for the first time, as a Western dish, I think burgers is the easiest thing. So we knew we wanted to serve some form of food. Originally, it was coffee. I don't know if you know about this, but I wanted to open a cafe.
Wow.
But in 2012, we realized that there were a lot of people inquiring to open up cafes through the suppliers. Because when we talk to suppliers, they'll be like, oh, no, lah, don't take this machine, lah, take that machine, lah. A lot of people ordering this. And we go like, wait a minute, we're going into this industry where there's going to be an oversaturation. So we decided to pivot. And that's how burgers came about. So burgers was actually plan B, literally. And yeah, thankfully, because we were geeks,
it worked out very well.
Yeah, it worked out very well for us.
So, in your definition, what's a good burger?
I think if we are going to go down the road of being really technical, you would have a lot of people that would have different criteria to say what's a good burger. I think essentially, as a food service person, the answer should be whatever that satisfies the customer. You're running a business. Right. Your product on the first bite or on the first sip should fulfill a certain sense of satisfaction. So if you're looking for good coffee, whether it is thick in crema, whether it is thick in the aroma, right, and you're able to deliver that to your customer, you've delivered a good product. So I don't like to go into the schematic to say, hey, there must be 3 levels of texture and the flavors must be contrasting. I think it's preference. I think that's the beauty of food. There's no such one answer of what is the perfect burger. So I know it's a non-answer for you, but at the end of the day, we are serving people and we should serve them what they are looking for and occasionally throw in the twist here or there to surprise them. But yeah, what's a good burger? Something that makes you smile the moment you take a bite in it. What's a good coffee? The moment you take a sip, you just know it's right?
And your menu has also a lot of like local flavors or twists to what a burger, like it's very localized, which I think is very interesting as well. And I also really like the inspiration behind the name, MyBurgerLab. Could you share with the viewers today how did the name came about? I think that's very interesting.
All right. So the first thing that we needed to make sure was that we do not pivot when we first started. So because my mom said that if you're gonna open up a restaurant, don't just lock yourself down and just sell one item, because what if no one likes that item, right? So since you're opening a restaurant, you should sell pasta, you should sell chicken chop. And me being rebellious as it is, I'm like, nope, it's just burgers. Because I was given an advice a long time ago about picking a niche in your business and being really good at it. So I was quite adamant to say, hey, we're going to pick one thing and just focus on it and try to be as good as possible. So no matter what, the word burger had to be in there. So that's how the word burger was a part of the name. Now, as for the word lab, we were pretty experimental. The way we approached it, because there's 2 science students in the team, right? The way we approach a lot of what we do is about saying, hey, we don't know a lot of things. And the only way we can find out is to ask questions and is to experiment. So we kind of embody that in our DNA and say that every single thing we do, whether it's hiring people, whether it's marketing, whether it is recipe, is an experiment. And we wanted to embody that ideology. So Burger Lab. Now the word "my," a lot of people would say, "Oh, they're Malaysians, right?" Or the boss wants to feel like he owns something, and that's why they say, "Hey, my Burger Lab." Actually, there's a pretty interesting story to that. I don't know if you know, there is a Malaysian coffee chain called Espresso Lab, and they happen to be one of my friend's favorite brand back in the days. And what happened at that time was that Facebook didn't allow 2 brands of the same name to coexist on Facebook. So someone already took Espresso Lab in the States. So what what that owner did for Espresso Lab on Facebook, he renamed it My Espresso Lab. All right, just to say that it's Malaysia Espresso Lab. So my friend who enjoyed Espresso Lab and kept inviting everyone to go there, kept saying, hey, let's go to my Espresso Lab, let's go to my Espresso Lab. And what everyone started asking her is that, do you own my Espresso Lab? Why are you so committed to them, right? And that was when the light bulb happened. I realized that if you, in a way, trick people to say the word my something, right? They have a sense of ownership. They have a sense of belonging. And that was something that we wanted to impart to our customers and our team as well. So I said, okay, let's put the word my there. So it became My Burger Lab. So we serve burgers. We try to be as good at it as possible. We're experimental. And anyone and everyone, so customers to the staff that says My Burger Lab, they have a sense of belonging. They have a sense of ownership. If my staff tells me, hey, Renyi, this SOP doesn't make sense, or hey, Renyi, this new product sucks, right? And if enough people voice out the same thing, we will listen and we'll make the changes. Same goes for the customer. So that has allowed us over the years to evolve, not just based on what we understand and what we perceive things to be, but through the eyes of our customers and the feedback of our team.
That's very interesting. Very beautiful, like, thought process as well. Do you think that, like, from an engineer, do you think that your thought process made Burger Lab special? I know that you have already mentioned a couple of things before this, like the science approach, but is there anything else that you like to share that contribute to the success behind Burger Lab over the past 8 years?
Yeah. So the first few classes that I had when I started my engineering degree was that my lecturers always spoke about one thing, which is the engineer eye. Right?
Engineer eye.
Yeah. So what an engineer's eye do, or what engineers' eyes do, is that we are natural problem seekers. We look for problems.
Seeker.
Yes. We love problems because engineers only have work when there is a problem for us to solve.
Right? True.
So we love problems. We are trained to love problems. And for example, if someone sits on a chair, they just sit on the chair. But an engineer will be looking at, hey, you're sitting down on a horizontal platform that's supported by 4 vertical structures, and each of these structures needs to take how many newtons or how many kgs of load, right? That's how we decipher. That's how we are trained and taught. So if you transfer that same ideology into the F&B industry or the entrepreneurial journey, which is, there's a lot of problems every day, right? So how do you resolve these problems? How do you find ways to not fix the problem that one time, but once and for all? So I felt that came really handy, especially in the beginning of our business when we didn't know what we were doing, but we were ready to sit down, analyze every single detail, and come up with solutions to overcome them. Because otherwise, I think if not for that mental state that we were trained to be, we probably would have given up a long time ago.
Yeah, I think like running F&B is quite chaotic on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, there's so many things going on, and every day is a new day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very interesting. One thing that I also love is your charcoal burger bun. It's very iconic.
Yeah.
We are very curious how that came about.
So when we were doing our R&D, the first 7 days of our R&D, the buns were normal looking, yellow brown buns. And by the time we got to a position where people were saying, hey, your burgers tasted really different and they are really unique, then we started to think about the business model. How are we going to move forward in ensuring that this business starts off with a bang? Because we knew we had limited resources when it came to cash flow. And we get a lot of advice. We asked a lot of people. We got a lot of advice that, hey, if you start this business with 300,000 ringgit, you need another 300,000 ringgit in your bank as a runway. Just in case in the first 6 months to 1 year, it doesn't take off. You need that 1 year to find your footing, to pivot, to change things up, to redo decoration if you need to, right? And a lot of people jump into the deep end of the pool without realizing this. And we said, look, we only have 300,000. There's no way we can raise another 300,000. So we need something to go viral. We didn't use the word viral back then. We needed to we needed to be famous as soon as possible. I think the idea of being viral only came by in the last couple of years, right? So we needed to stand out. We knew our products tasted different from what was available in the market at that time. And we were like thinking, what can we do to stand out? So I happened to I happened to be the baker at that time. I don't have to bake anymore nowadays. Our central kitchen team does that. So I was shopping for ingredients, and I came across this vial of charcoal powder. And I asked the shop owner, hey, what does this do? He said, oh, the Japanese use it to make charcoal loaf. It's exactly like our white bread, but it's black in color. And I asked, why, like what benefits does it have? Oh, it's just, charcoal in color, and it's supposed to be healthy. So I'm going to get a bit of a drink.
I'm too excited to interview you, Sabi. I have not been giving you like any form of break. Yeah.
all good. All good. Yeah. So I thought, oh, that was really interesting. And after a bit of Googling, we realized that around the world, only one place have done charcoal burgers. And guess where? France. Some French dude made charcoal burger. And he put a Star Wars theme behind it, like, the dark side and whatnot. But it wasn't famous. It wasn't anything. We thought, okay, since no one has done it before, why not give it a try? So in 2012, I think February, that was when the first charcoal bun in Malaysia was born. I dare say that because I really know no one else did it before us. And when we tested it on our test group, our guinea pigs, the first reaction was, oh my God, chao da already. But of course, the taste, the texture didn't change. That was the important factor that we made sure was consistent. The only thing that was different was the color. But once people bit into it, they were like, oh my God, this is so good. This is different. I've never seen anything like this before. But the psychological aspect of it was quite interesting because we had a few friends that keep coming back during our R&D period that we kept inviting for a reason, just so that they can say, hey, there's improvement here, that this can be better or that can be better. So there was a huge difference when they bit into the black buns. Suddenly, black was cool. And they were like, this tasted so much better than last week. When we knew in the blind test, the two exact buns, although different color, had no difference. If I put a blindfold over you, you take a bite, you can't tell. You can't smell it. You can't tell the difference in texture. But we realized psychologically, it made a difference. A lot of people somehow felt that the black color made it fluffier or just psychologically, that was just that added layer of advantage. And we were like, okay, I think we're onto something. And 2012 was also a year where 3G in Malaysia started becoming more viable. It also became a bit of a trend where people started OOTD and showing off what they were eating in restaurants. They were checking in on Foursquare. That was something back then. And for us, that was what helped take off the popularity that we had. Honestly, if you ask me that if we did the same thing last year or this year, I don't think it would have had the same result. So we were at the right place at the right time. We were not, I dare not accredit ourselves to being some kind of marketing genius or some kind of visionary, culinary genius. We were not. We just happened to be at the right place at the right time and found the right product to stand out in a internet space. And that's exactly what happened.
Renyi, I think you're way too humble.
No, that's the truth. When you tell me I'm too humble, right? I don't know how to tell this to people. It is a lot of dumb luck. But I can take credit for the fact that the team was smart enough to take what was luck and convert it into some form of consistency. That we can take credit for. But at the start, it was just everything at the right time. If it was 1 year earlier where internet on the phone wasn't as fast, you couldn't upload pictures so quickly onto Facebook, it wouldn't have taken off. Right? So again, right place, right time, sometimes that makes a whole lot of difference.
Agree. I've actually got some very interesting questions that the viewer have. So let's just answer them before I finish with my question. Gideon Tay say hi, boss man.
Hi, Gideon. Yeah, he's one of our ex gigs.
Oh, nice. It's interesting. So I have a question from Xander. How has the business model changed pre and post MCO? Any plans to expand the business overseas in the near future? So this question is also in conjunction with another question from Ivan. Any chances that you're coming to Singapore?
So thanks for the question, Xander and Ivan. Here's the truth. We did want to expand out of Malaysia in 2021. 2020 was the year that we were gonna lock down our SOP, figure out the franchise model, and then we would head out. However, of course, MCO happened, so that has pushed plans back a little bit. In terms of how the business model has changed, honestly, we built new verticals. We did a lot of things that we wanted to do that we couldn't find time to do during MCO. So for us, we were some of the few lucky brands that actually managed to break even during this period. In fact, our sales was a record high. Now, don't confuse that with profit, because we do a lot of delivery, and as you guys know, GrabFood does take a certain percentage. Now, I'm happy with the arrangement I have with GrabFood, but in this current circumstance, the model is a bit broken because you have to give them 30%. But any other normal circumstances, GrabFood is a value add whereby the extra sales is supplementary. Anyway, so we moved into a territory where we're making so much sales, but 30% of our revenue goes to GrabFood. I felt that we weren't making enough. We were on the brink of falling below the break-even mark, which was really dangerous. So we innovated and we did flavored patties. So we actually sell our. So usually we just sell normal patties like beef and chicken flavor, but we innovated. Right. We had like new extra patties like mango patty, mango chicken patty, Parmesan kimchi patty, and so on and so forth. And we sold those on Marts, MARTS, Marts. We usually didn't do breakfast because we felt that no one was going to pay 30 ringgit for a breakfast set, at least not our regular burgers. So there was one period during MCO where we had to close by 8 o'clock, which means we had to miss out on the dinner sales. So to counter that, we opened up for breakfast, but at the same time, we R&D and worked and collaborated with a local cafe to serve pancakes. Basically, we took McDonald's and we went on steroids, right? So those were those were a few things that we innovated. What else did we do? Yeah, we did a lot of things.
Yeah, pretty so cool right as well.
Sorry?
You guys also did make your own burger or DIY burger kit, right?
Okay.
The home
kit
is awesome.
To me is a bit of a. I mean, everyone has been doing it. It's nothing original, to be honest. But why we did it was a conscious choice to say, hey, a lot of people couldn't come to BurgerLab during the MCO period, during the lockdown period. Right. Why don't we sold the idea that, hey, your home, your house is a BurgerLab franchise for one day. You can take our ingredients, go home, have fun with it. The idea here is not to make a simple cheeseburger. The idea is to go through your fridge. If you have the sambal, you have the curry, you have the sausage, you have the bacon, whatever it is, make your own BurgerLab and share it with us. And a lot of people did that. So it was more of a marketing campaign rather than a make money campaign. Honestly, we sold it at a price where the profit margin wasn't great. But we wanted the idea that, hey, have fun with BurgerLab at home. So we did a lot of these things, and these are things that now that MCO is kind of on its recovery stage, we managed to keep, we managed to maintain. So the business model have diversified. I dare say that. We have new compartments in the business or new verticals in the business that we will put more manpower towards and build them into their own business verticals. So one example is a lot of restaurants are actually reaching out to us and saying, hey, I run a small cafe. I want to serve burgers, but I don't want to just buy from any random place, or I don't have the manpower to do my own thing DIY, right? I only want to focus on coffee. So they want to take our buns, they want to take our patties, and we're doing that. So that in itself is another business model. So we start supplying to other restaurants and cafe. Although it's only like 5 restaurants and cafe right now, but there are a lot in talks that we will continue to supply on. So who knows? One of my new dream right now is that hopefully by the end of the year, at least 50 restaurants and cafes in KL or PJ will carry our product. Because in a way, it's indirect marketing. Because they want to use our brand. They want to say, hey, this is my menu, but in the burger section, it says burgers by MyBurgerLab. And we'll give them the advice, we'll give them the expertise that we can to craft a tasty, delicious burger. And these are things that, again, pre-MCO, we never thought of. We never thought that we could branch out like that. But right now, due to us being popular, due to us doing well during this period, and also selling our products individually, a new branch stands up. So to answer the question, post MCO and pre MCO, the difference is we realize we are a lot more capable of pivoting and scaling up than we originally thought. So yeah, I like the fact that, and I can't take credit for any of this. My team did a fantastic job. All I did was I dreamt of this idea, I threw it at them, and then they just executed. So I mean, the team has to take credit for it. I know they hate me for sure, because during MCO, we were busy as it is, but I was still throwing them all these new projects and expecting them to complete within a week. But they did a tremendous job, and I'm very proud of them for that. As for expanding, it will happen. I believe that Rome is not built in a day. A lot of people say, hey, this competition brand has now more outlets than you, or they have done this and done that. Let them be. Shake Shack was not built within a day. They were one outlet in what's that place called? The park in New York. Anyway, I forgot what's the name of the park. They were there for a good, I think 8 to 9 years, just one store, right? Only then later they started expanding aggressively and worldwide. I believe that in Singapore, you guys have 2 Shake Shack now.
Yeah, I think third one opening soon in Orchard.
Oh wow! Five Guys is coming to Malaysia. I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, the point here is that a lot of the great brands that you see are not built overnight, and we believe that as long as we take our time, as long as we build the foundation right, we want to offer a model of franchise where it's sustainable. A lot of people don't see that franchises is usually beneficial to the master, to the person that's selling the franchise. So am I a business that's selling food, or am I a business that's selling franchise? We like to see that we are a business that sells food, and we want whoever that buys into our franchise to make money as well, not just from us making a quick buck from them and then sayonara 2 years later. Yeah, so we want to make sure our foundation is solid.
It's very interesting. How vital is Instagram to your business? Because Instagram is like now the next big thing, right?
No, TikTok is the next big thing.
TikTok?
Facebook,
are you guys on TikTok?
So Facebook is, they say, it's for the older generation, and it is. The teens, right, are no longer on Facebook, all right?
Yeah,
in
that's
fact,
true.
The Instagram crowd is growing old as well. So the new platform to be on is actually TikTok. We just...
Are you guys on TikTok?
We are, but we haven't really aggressively
Awesome.
Used it yet. But we're still trying to figure it out, because it takes quite a lot of skill to come up with something creative on TikTok. It's a great video editing tool for sure. But you got to get with the times, for sure. You got to get with the times. And I'm not saying abandon Facebook or abandon Instagram. All of them address different demographic, but you cannot use the same campaign or same ad across all 3 platforms. So that means that the social media team has a lot more to do to craft very specific content for each of these platforms.
I agree. How do you make yourself different from other competition in terms of like burger product wise?
I think at the end of the day, I don't really look at the competition too much. And in fact, competition is a very interesting term. Whenever someone asks me, who do you think your competition is? And they expect me to say like the usual KGP, like, of the same range, right? But my competition is McDonald's. I mean, I don't want to fight down, I want to fight up, right? So I want to be like McDonald's one day. not by the standard of the burgers. I think McDonald's is great in terms of if you want a quick meal to get by, yeah, they do the job. It's not bad tasting, but it's not sophisticated. But I want to be as big as McDonald's. I want to be as well organized and as well logistically as well managed as they are, right? So that's where the target is, right? I want to be the next Shake Shack. I want to be the next In-N-Out. But at the end of the day, I want to be my own thing as well. I want to be Burger Lab, but standing on the same level as the giants. That's where we want to shoot for the stars, basically.
It's very impressive. I look forward to the future for Burger Lab as well. It's going to be very
So I think I didn't answer your question. How are we different? We take inspirations from both West and East and combine them in a burger. One simple example is, I don't think anyone has done this before, and this is like about 4 years ago. We roll out every other year. One of my personal favorite burger is actually the Sambal Petai burger. We call it the Sting Bomb. Now, to put Sambal Petai burger in a burger is easy. But to put Sambal Petai and blue cheese in a burger, I don't think anyone has done it. So we did it. And putting blue cheese is very Western, right? Sambal Petai is very local. How do you combine those two flavors together? I have a philosophy, which is very simple. If A and B goes well together, and B and C goes well together, it's a very high chance that A, B, and C will go well together. So I just need to find a connecting dot. So if you eat Sambal Petai with blue cheese, it doesn't go well. But pineapple goes well with blue cheese. Pineapple goes well with Sambal Petai. So you put those three together, they're amazing. Try it, thank me later.
I'm actually very hungry right now already. I think we actually overshot in terms of time. It's been very interesting. I guess just one last question to sum it up. So Ivan Lim asked, what new stuff is coming out and how did you survive the lockdown?
Personally or the brand?
I guess we've been talking about Burger Lab so far. Maybe just a little bit about yourself would be pretty nice.
What's in store in the future? We have a lot of new exciting brands. I wouldn't say brands, just new ventures that's coming out just to test the market. Because I can say for sure no one knows what's certain.
Right.
How the market will be really relies on how well behaved we are. Meaning that when things open up, don't go rushing out and gather, and have big social gathering and spread and potentially be the spread of the virus. I think we still need to be careful because another lockdown will just kill us. So right now for Burger Lab, we are on standby mode, meaning that every other day we're watching the news, we're waiting for the RMCO to end, which is the 31st of August. We're waiting for the SOP to loosen up a little bit before we can do anything. One of my good friend, Edmund, who runs Inside Scoop, says that don't be a hero, right? Let other people go ahead, do what they need to do, and then watch, right? Because especially when we're in a position where we don't need to rush. If I haven't had sales for the last 2-3 months, I understand that you should go out there and try to fight for the sales. But Burger Lab, thankfully, have been in a position where we're breaking even, where we're doing okay. Let's just step back right now and just observe. Yeah. On the personal side, how I got through MCO was I just kept busy. I kept myself busy by thinking of new ways to save the business because at that time, again, you really didn't know what was going to happen every other next day. So we came up with so many ideas. So that kept me sane. And if I may be a little bit more personal, I found I met someone just before MCO, and I think throughout that period we kept each other sane.
Nice. That's very nice to know. So I think we overshot a little bit, but it's been amazing to speak to you today. So Burger Lab is it's my favorite burger in KL, and I can't be there right now, but it's impressive that I can speak to you and to learn a little bit more about Burger Lab and also to have this conversation accessible to everyone. So for those that just join us like in between or in the middle, this entire session will be recorded and will be posted on YouTube for rewatch. and it will also be available on IGTV. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Thank you again so much, Renyi, for agreeing to do this.
No, thanks, Carmen. The next time you're back, or the moment you are able to come back, the first burger is on me, all right?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right,
Coffee on.
bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.